Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Well, welcome back. It's Wednesday, the 22nd of February, 2023 here at Giga-Texas. It's also 1 week away from Investors Day, which will be held in the factory right behind me. So it's kind of getting exciting to figure out what we're going to hear. And maybe we'll find out some very interesting things about what's going to happen here at Giga-Texas in the next few months as well. For the video intro, the few things that I want to talk about. First, as you can see here, over on that east intersection or roundabout or traffic circle, a lot of progress continues and most of the concrete has now been poured, and it's definitely got a very interesting shape. It's not a pure circle, as you can see by this image, but it also has kind of these serrated edges which suggest that there may be multiple lanes, some of them to expedite through this roundabout or traffic circle, and others to kind of bypass it. So very interesting to see this development and what it will look like when it is completed. Over on the west side of General Assembly, here at that main entrance, you can see continued progress with a lot of the concrete work that is going on and further refinement of that trapezoidal section in the middle. Also nearby, as you can see here, a lot more of those landscaped trees have been delivered near that section of asphalt that was removed. A lot of the grade work and some of that excavation pit is going on as well. And also nearby here across the road from where they're doing all of that concrete main entrance, we can see that they've put down a kind of a gray gravel mixture on top of the geotextile membrane in that middle of the landscaping section. Again, this is right across the road from the main entrance, and as you can see here with kind of a bird's eye view, this is how it looks like from about maybe 30-40 meters in the air, or about 120 feet or so. So very interesting. Some people say that they think that this is starting to look like a plaid symbol. I don't know about that. Let me know what you think in the comments. And the final area I want to talk about is here on the south end. The company Nauka continues to prepare the south end of the building for continued white staining of the exterior concrete walls. Now, some people have asked me, is it not really a paint? Why do I call it a stain? Well, I call it a stain because that's what the company is using. And as you can see here by the link, you can take a look at the company site yourself and you can find out more information about the process that they're using. But today it looks like they're preparing more of the windows right on top of where the superchargers are so that they can start the staining process there. Otherwise, started off a little bit rainy and gloomy, but as you can see, it's cleared up. A beautiful day to fly. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and always, thank you very much for your support. Have a great day.
A special thank you to all of my outstanding Patreons for your continued encouragement and support. Patreon members get access to hundreds of high-resolution photos, previews of the future material, and direct dialogue with me. If you would like to support my channel, please consider becoming a patron using this link, which is also in the video description. Please also consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. So today we start off on the southeast side of Giga-Texas. We take a look at the activity on this side of the building. One of the things that you will definitely notice is the white color on the south side in that cornered section, and also on the south end of the building. You can see how the crews have made progress to about the midpoint, maybe slightly more of the building itself. You can also see some of the changes on the ground and the material storage here at the bottom of the screen, and also some of the trailers. Now the crews are preparing to continue to expand the white stain across the south end of the building, and they are actually marking off and putting plastic on the windows right over the superchargers, and we'll see that a little bit closer. Here is a nice closer lower view of the material staging on the south end. You can see these trailers with the rebar that will be used for some of the concrete slab work that will be done, and also you see some green containers for maybe some rubbish and that yellow crane, and also just a little bit of steel parts on this side as well. So let's proceed over towards the southeast corner of stamping and take a look at that area closer up. Here you can see the blue wrapped items and some of the blue wrapped crates. Quite a bit of the materials that are necessary for the AIDA stamping press in the Stamping 2 section have been installed now, so there's a lot less that we can see. This is also a good close view of how the white wall stain looks, and compare that where the stain has not been installed, and you can see there's a significant difference in not only color but also the texture of the south wall as well. Still waiting to see if there will be any construction here on this south end and when that will begin, but there has been some deliveries of some gravel, as you can see some piles, and also some landscaping dirt, which was then removed and relocated to other sections of the building. Here's a good closer view of the Stamping 2, the two main doors. It looks like there's some more deliveries happening here. And one of these days I'd like to see if I can get any views inside there to see the progress. You can see that there's continues to have materials being delivered on top of that temporary platform. And also, as I mentioned, the crews are putting plastic wrap onto the windows here and preparing the area over this supercharger so they can start applying that white stain. And as many people have asked, it is not a paint, it is actually a concrete stain, and it will be much more durable for the Giga-Texas's exterior than a paint might be. You can also see some work here on the left-hand side of the screen that is very interesting, and I'll give you a good detailed view of it. First, you can see that the steel corrugated pipes have still not been attached in this 45-degree angle here. And I think that has to do with this Griffin dewatering system that's been going on here. Now the materials at the center of the screen, kind of at the bottom, are for a large tank, and we can actually see the crews installing some of these parts to make this circular tank. The red smaller tank is part of the dewatering system, and you can see the pipes around the circular depression. You can also see that the water tank, the red one, is still active. Now I think that not only are we going to see a tank here, but this may be the reason why the steel corrugated pipes for the water management have not been connected, because they're still doing some dewatering work underneath the ground in this particular area. So something I'll continue to monitor. So let's proceed up a little bit further to the north and take a look at the west main entrance and changes there today. Crews are very busy with trying to continue to add more concrete to this interesting design, and this is a really good close-in view so you can see not only how the design looks, but take a look at some of the thickness of some of the concrete here as well. Now some people have asked, will this be ready for the Investors Day next Wednesday? And I don't think so. But the crews are continuing to make a lot of progress. And this is a good view here of this central trapezoidal section and how this overall area is looking today. At the bottom of the screen you can see this kind of a gray gravel mix has been added to where the asphalt used to be, and right underneath that is also geotextile membrane, which is used to stabilize the soil underneath that gravel. And as you can see, the crews here are looks like they're taking a small break in between work preparing this section. That trapezoidal section in the middle is not only a little bit higher, as you can see by that ledge, but it's also a different color as well. And that kind of goes along with those color concrete samples that we saw the crews working on earlier. Here we see more trees for landscaping have been delivered to this particular section that has had the asphalt removed. And also we see the crews working on the lift system. This is for sewage water. And there's some discussion about whether the sewage system for the factory is fully operational, and this may be an indication that there's still a lot of reconfiguration work with that going on as well. But otherwise, you can see how this section looks with more of the trees, and it'll be interesting to see how they do the landscaping. Now, as I get back to this west main entrance, I'm going to give you a different view from a little bit farther away and a little bit higher in altitude. Now, I put the plaid badge because I've had a lot of viewers say that they think that this looks like the plaid badge and the concrete work that is going on. I'm not sure about that, but let me know in the comments if you think that that is what they are building here. So let's get ready to go across the building and take up the flight on the east side. Here we're on the east side of both the stamping machine structure on the left of the building and the body in white here in the middle. And you can see how the materials, the crates and the blue wrapping looks today. A lot more of it has been moved inside, as we mentioned earlier. You can see the two chutes here with the green refuge or recycling bins. These continue to be used to move some of the materials that they no longer need after unpacking out of the second story of the body in white structure. I'll pan the drone a little bit further to the north. We'll get a good view of the activity up here. The sedimentation basin or the empty pond here right south of this small parking lot that's used for new vehicle testing and calibration. You can see the test track in yellow at the bottom of the screen and many Model Ys kind of parked around this particular area. More of the superchargers are being used, at least on half of it, while the other half continues to have the canopies installed. And we'll get a closer view of that in just a second. The helicopter pad still is unused. I have not yet seen a helicopter land here, but I do watch periodically. But we can also see just the number of Model Ys in various stages here in this testing and calibration lot waiting to be moved over to the new vehicle transportation lot. This is a little bit closer in view of the superchargers and the canopies and how they look right now, and you can see how the solar panels are installed. About half of this work is now completed, and we should see more of the components for those canopies arrive soon. Now here is a good view of the work on this traffic circle or roundabout. You can see how the center kind of circular section is looking right now. It kind of has those serrated edges. And you also see that most of the concrete's been poured. This inset gives you an idea of how this may work. It may be called a turbo roundabout, which means that it's got some sections to allow you to bypass and others to kind of expedite the work, the traffic flow around the center. You can see here concrete is being poured at the receiving docks finally, and some of it has already been poured in that one section and cross-cut. And again, as we pull away, this is how this traffic circle, this turbo roundabout looks, and how that receiving area appears as well. Now I'm going to move a little bit further to the north because I want to show you a new development. You can see right next to the blue entrance area for the workers, more concrete has been poured on these stairs, and they are on both sides of the road now. So it's another very interesting development, and one of my Patreons has pointed that out in the past, so I'm glad to be able to give you a closer view of that. The east side of the casting machine structure has quite a bit of castings today. And as we fly a little bit further to the north along this parking lot, we can see this section here with the blue water pipe is kind of being a storage section. And as we cross over Tesla Road, very interesting development here at the bottom of the screen. You can see where they are now working on electrical conduit, and that will proceed further to the east and connect the battery cathode plant complex to the electrical system. We can also see where more of the blue water pipe is being laid out here. That will also proceed over to the east, battery cathode plant complex, to have water service to that area with all three of the structures. Here, just at the south end of the temporary switchyard, we can see more components have been delivered. We can see the A-frame structure, steel parts, and also some more of those V-top circuit breakers. And I'll show you in just a second where those will be installed. We're still waiting to see where these steel corrugated water pipes will be installed, and also we can also see some more of these water pipes, the blue ones and the treated water pipe HDPE black ones, stored here as well. This is a good close-in view of the two transformers and the work that continues to prepare them for operation. It looks like the oil system for cooling has been completely installed as well. So a lot of interesting and great progress on this end of the electrical switchyard. Now as we maneuver and go a little bit further to the north, we'll see quite a bit of activity on the east side with more of the steel assembly onto the new footings that have been installed. And speaking of which, as we get a little bit closer just past the control building, you'll see on the left-hand side these three rectangular footings that the crews are working on. Those are for more of those V-top circuit breakers. We can also see the footings where the A-frame structure, the seventh and final A-frame structure, will be installed. On the north end, looks like there's still some spools of the wires, and there's also a man lift up to the north where it looks like the electrical utility company is preparing to put the high tension electrical wires onto those poles. And then this is just a good view overall of how the electrical switchyard looks today. So let's reposition the drone over towards the east, and we'll take a look at some more installation of water pipes and other activity. In this section just south of that temporary pond with the liner and all the water in it, you can see the black HDPE pipe is still laid out here, more of the blue water pipe as well, and the trenching is continuing to be filled back in, suggesting that at least this portion of the blue water pipe installation has been completed. This small housing complex continues to see preparation to relocate some more of the trees, and then we're going to continue to fly to the south over this section that used to be a temporary parking lot. Now it looks like it's becoming another large material storage location, and also the warehouse on wheels with all of these trailers. Now the interesting thing is on the west side across the highway, that expansion section for all the trailers is actually larger now than what remains here. So there's some speculation that the warehouse on wheels itself is going to completely move across the highway to free up this area for some future construction. Not sure about that yet, but it is something I'm continuing to monitor as well. So as we continue to fly further to the southeast, I'll kind of reveal more of this area of the construction site. Lots of materials, lots of trailers, some workshops, and other activity with vehicles and equipment on this side. As we continue to move ourselves a little bit to the north, there's a couple of things I want to show you here of interest. One is just the view here of the main factory from this vantage point. But also at the bottom of the screen, and I'll give you a nice close-up in, as you can see that there's sections of this large steel looking or silver boot, and also the large cowboy hats, as you can see by the inset pictures. Now, these were used at Cyber Rodeo last April, and I'm wondering if maybe these are being prepared to be used for Investor Day coming up next week. So I don't know, but it's a very interesting discovery here on the site on this far east side of the construction site. Now, there's another thing that I want to show you here, and I can now confirm what this trailer area looks like and what it is for now. It's something that we've been speculating on for quite some time. This is actually a food kitchen run by Cisco. You can take a look at the link here if you want more information, but they provide a lot of the food that is used for the employees here at the site. So this is a large temporary kitchen that has been under construction for some time, and it now looks like it's operational. The battery cathode plant complex is very busy today, and we'll start on the east side. You can see a platform here on the bottom left of the screen has been partially assembled. More of the components getting ready to go into that large opening. You can see that the temporary platforms are operational. The one on the left is getting some more steel studs to finish out this wall, and we also see that opening on the roof no longer has that plastic covering, so it looks like they're going to be installing some equipment onto that opening on the roof here very soon. As we pull back, I'll give you a different view, more of what is going on here on the east side. We can see more of these red and white platform components, some of which have been installed in this large open section. We know that the SACME presses have been installed into the pit underneath these white platforms, and we can see quite a bit more equipment is now being installed onto this platform. You can also see there's another doorway way up on top, so that suggests we're going to see more platforms installed on top of where they're putting the equipment right now. So another thing I'll be monitoring as time goes on. As I reposition the drone here, we'll continue to work our way to the north across this graveled section and the cell test lab structure. One of the things I want to just show you is the progress on this clearing, and it looks like there's another excavator working on the north end of this dirt hill. So we'll see more of this hill being reduced at some point. You can see the rental utility lot on the upper right. And also you can see this large clearing with the materials being stored. Also, there appears to be another soil test sampling operation going on. Can't get there today, but my next video I'll try to get up there and take a look at that. But overall, this is how the northeast clearing from the battery cathode plant complex looks today, with quite a bit of more materials being stored up here as well. So I'll bring the drone across the north end of the battery cathode plant to the west side to get an idea of how this entire section continues to transform, with quite a bit of the structures under construction. First off, on the left-hand side of the screen next to the crane, you can see another large white tank has been delivered here and is being prepared to be moved inside the building. We can also see this galvanized steel structure continues to see quite a bit of equipment, some of which is wrapped in white plastic. Others are being installed, some of the pipes and some of that grate material on the roof, if you will. And it looks like it continues to progress at a pretty quick rate, and I'll show you a different perspective of that section in a little bit later on the video. Here on the die shop, we see more work on the ground slabs, two large sections here. In this section, it's a little bit shadowed, but you can see this very deep and heavily reinforced piered foundation has got quite a bit of the form work, and it looks like they're getting ready to start bringing some rebar in to start forming the rebar cage that will be encased in concrete for this really heavy-duty foundation on this side of the building. As we continue to maneuver our way back towards the south, I'll give you another view of this formed-in section, kind of a deep foundation. Kind of get appreciation here for just how large and how reinforced this particular foundation is. And then next to it, there's another reinforced section, but it is not getting the deep foundation work at this time. You can see that red bridge crane that was installed is now completely under the roof, which all of the roof decking has been installed now. And this is a good viewpoint of the south end of the die shop. In several sections, we see some large doorways. It looks like receiving doors being installed as well. Now, this is sort of that alley or corridor between the battery cathode plant on the right and the die shop on the left. You can see some of the conduit here with those concrete vaults. This is what will be connected to that conduit that we talked about a little bit previous in the video. You can also see that the steel galvanized structure from this side has quite a bit of pumps and other equipment installed on the ground floor, and just a general view of how this looks today. So let's bring the drone up and prepare to proceed back to the main building, where we'll check out the north end for some interesting activity up there today. As we drop down here at the northeast corner of the casting machine structure, you can see again quite a bit of the castings on the east side of the building, and those are being stored temporarily until they're used in the body in white section. You can also see that the platforms here on this side, 4 more castings have been moved away. On the north end of the paint shop, we can just get a good idea of how little of the materials remain to be moved inside. It does look like there's some more white and red platform components that have been brought, very similar to what we saw at the battery cathode plant. And then here it looks like we're getting more deliveries of some of this black steel pipe that will be moved up to the 4th floor of the battery cell production portion of the main building. So there you have it, a quick view across a lot of the site here on this Wednesday, the 22nd of February. It's a reminder, one more week till Investors Day, so can't wait to see and hear what is going to go on. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your support. Have a great day.